Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew Show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio. SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, Alex Padilla, and John Browner.
All right, great friends. What's happening? It is Kaplan and Crew on a Thursday afternoon, and we are coming to you from the 7 Mile Casino Studios. 7milecasino.com is the website. You're looking for something fun to do this weekend? It's a card room, dude. It's not one giant hotel with a cool pool scene and concert venues. It is a card room. You're playing blackjack, poker, pie gow, table games. You're having a beautiful brunch over at Sammy's Restaurant and Bar, which is Sammy's Wood Fire Pizza. 7 Mile Casino, we're waiting for you this weekend, so come on down. So we're just getting onto the airwaves of 1090. We're just getting onto the stream of YouTube. Chatlins, what's going on out there? All the different audio podcast platforms, and tonight on television, our home base, Channel 4 San Diego, part of the Cox Review Network. For those of you that are not part of the visual portion of today's broadcast, take a look. You can put us all on screen, Alex. Yesterday, Bob Wick, the legendary San Diego Charger equipment manager, who is now running the equipment managing for the XFL, and he works specifically for the Vegas Vipers. Dude, me and Browner are rocking our new Vegas Viper gear. In fact, I can't even tell what my shirt says. It's just super comfy. It's one of those like really great material.
Hardest worker on the field, dog.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
One of these hoodie t-shirts. And I feel like it's got like this, you know, like the Rock, like his little logo down here, you know?
So he's got to deal with him.
Isn't he the commissioner or something?
Yeah,
no,
he's the owner, isn't he? Isn't the Rock the owner of the XFL?
No, man. I mean, the Under Armour. He's got to deal with Under Armour for active gear because he's always working out. Gotcha. So that little bull at the bottom is his symbol. He's got shoes and everything.
Yeah. Well, hey, Dwayne Johnson, if you're listening or if you happen to catch up to this on social media, my brother, we love all the XFL gear and we appreciate Bob Wick for sending it. And you got some fans. You know, we're going to try and get ourselves in on the XFL. So shout out to The Rock. How about that?
And by the way, I love The Rock and his message on weightlifting and being strong, but he's got to have short arms. I love Bob Wick. I'm appreciative, but it's me. I'm a mutant. I got long arms. My arms are always a little bit longer than the average athlete. And so that happens here.
You're wearing a awesome 3/4 sleeve?
Listen, I put this thing on, man, and it didn't make it.
But you want to know something? That's an extra large that you're rocking, right?
Yeah.
Well, I wear a large and everything too. And actually, I think the large is like a little small. Not this one that I'm wearing, but the quarter zip like you're wearing. It was a little small. Now, the other thing I put on yesterday, that hoodie, that thing is like a coach's hoodie because it has like a pocket up front and it's got hand warmers down here. And it's just, I love it, man. So shout out to Bob Wick. Shout out to The Rock. And XFL, good luck with your kickoff this upcoming weekend. All right, we're going to jump right in because Alex said at the end of yesterday's show, you know, go Aztecs, and San Diego State had a big basketball game last night. We'll get to that. And obviously, we're going to start with Padres. I mean, I think right now the Padres are the story of San Diego sports, and that's where most Padres or San Diego sports fans' heads are at. I had a lunch yesterday with a potential client, and all this guy wanted to talk about, and I was happy to accommodate, was the Padres and what they're doing, and Soto over and left, and Tatis over and right, or Mighty move to center, and what did I think about this deal that they signed with this pitcher Wacha, et cetera, et cetera. Hey. So I think it is the story, at least locally, that people are talking about, and I want to jump right in, but I will say this. In the next segment, I'm going to wait for it. In the next segment, you know, we started a new piece of the show yesterday. It's called the Uncensored segment. And at the end of the radio portion of what we do, we go into YouTube exclusively, and it's completely raw and uncensored. And Alex, you said yesterday, oh man, this is a disaster. I thought it was just a language thing. I didn't realize it was an emotions thing. I just let out all this emotion that I had inside of me. And you know what, Alex? I honestly thought the rest of the day, like, dude, maybe we shouldn't post it. Maybe I shouldn't have said all this stuff. Maybe I come off looking really stupid. The response from the great friends who felt my stress, who felt my real raw emotion. I love you guys, man. And I will read to you I will read to you some of the feedback that I've received through every form: email, Instagram direct message, Twitter direct message, text message. I mean, I cannot believe how many people saw what I said yesterday and heard what I said yesterday and brought me love. So if you're listening on radio right now, if you're watching on TV right now, the uncensored version of the show is one segment. It's on YouTube. And yesterday I went raw on everybody. And Alex, you thought it was a bad idea, the things that I said, but I
No,
just said them and people freaking reacted.
I think that we have a differing we are different people into what we feel comfortable talking about publicly. I have no problem with the emotions that you released yesterday, but we differ on what we like to talk about publicly. I like to keep things in house. You don't, and no one. That's not a surprise to anybody. But I also want to say something to the great friends and everybody that tuned in. The conversations that we have on the show are not the only conversations that the three of us have. You guys realize that we discuss things off air. And I feel like some, maybe not great friends, but some people think that like that's the first time we heard those things that you were saying. And that to me is like surprising. It's like, do you guys think this is the only time we talk is while we're recording something? Like I knew everything that Scott said before it happened, and it felt like people thought I was trying to shut you down or I was surprised by what you were saying. And I was just like, we have a different opinion on what we like to say publicly. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. And then throw in
Scott's always
Browner.
raw though. Like we know that,
Yeah.
obviously.
I can't
That's
help
why we don't
myself.
tell. That's why we don't tell. And this is not a surprise either. Me and Browner don't tell Scott things that we don't want said on this show because we know the moment.
Oh yeah.
We know the moment we tell Scott something on this show or off air, it's on this show the next day.
Right.
I don't
Yeah,
think I told
yeah.
Scott I was engaged for like a month.
Yeah.
I definitely didn't tell Scott I had a girlfriend for like 5 years.
Browner didn't tell us he was going to Seattle till the day before he went to Seattle.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Well,
What are
it's
you doing?
true.
What are you doing? It's not the same.
It is the same. It is the same.
Don't mix me into this. Don't make
But
Alex
also,
was
like-
doing it. Alex was doing a nice soliloquy of how he has beliefs and sees things and he's addressing the great friends. I'm over here I'm listening. Don't put me in this.
On some NBA
Well-
headlines about some no-name player and how he can't believe
No.
that.
I'm not actually. I'm working on something that is beneficial to the show that I'm going to address
Okay.
later in the show because I saw something which I don't like to bring this up, but I saw something in our notes this morning,
Mm-hmm.
and it bothered me. So I did some research, and now I'm formatting my thoughts for said article and said part
You
of
opened
the
the
show
notes?
today.
Wow.
Not only
impressive.
did I open the notes, I got a chunk of it that I need addressed.
Okay.
Okay. I got the meat I need to throw on the grill because I had enough.
Okay.
I'm
I'm
hungry.
tired of it.
All right.
Tired of it.
I'm hungry. Throw that meat on that grill.
Listen, I may be new in the kitchen, but I'm ready to cook on this particular subject because I had enough.
All right. Well, stand by.
Enough.
I want to address everybody who jumped in on the uncensored portion of yesterday's show. Reminder, radio listeners, TV viewers, you got to go back to yesterday and watch if you care. Otherwise, I'm just going to tell everybody there will be, yet and again, there will be another uncensored segment coming up a little bit later on, but it's only available on YouTube and on audio podcasts. Okay, let's jump right in here today. Very interesting how the Padres, they signed this pitcher, this guy Wacha from Boston. And, the early part of his career was spent as a real up-and-coming star with the St. Louis Cardinals. And then his career started to get a little derailed through some injuries. And by the way, I mean, it's required me to do some homework on this because if you say to me, Michael Wacha, I'd be like, I don't really know that guy. Now, the early part of his career, I mean, he was in the big leagues in 2013, and those first few years in St. Louis were pretty darn good. But then things again, injuries and moving team to team to team. Okay. The Padres signed him. And I know my initial reaction was, well, there's not really a lot of risk here. There's not really that much money. And if you're a guy on, you're the fourth or fifth or maybe even sixth starter, we're not talking about 20 million a year, 18 million a year. It doesn't seem like a whole lot of risk. But the contract now, as it's being reported, seems complex, somewhat complicated in ways. And
to say the
you know,
least.
right, and it may not have been a Xander Bogaerts caliber expenditure, and it may not have been a Juan Soto sexy sort of transaction, but it is a little riskier, I think, than we maybe knew at the beginning part. So, Alex, you want to take us through this so that everybody can kind of
Yeah,
jump
so
in?
the details came out, and the first tweet I saw was from Jeff Passan.
Mhm.
Jeff Passan, the Woj Narowski of baseball, tweets the deal for Michael Wacha and the Padres: 4 years, 26 million guaranteed.
Mhm.
Okay, but here we go. In 2023, he'll make 7.5 million.
This
After
year.
this year, after 23, the Padres can pick up a 2-year, $32 million option. If Padres decline, Waka has a 3-year, 18.5 million player option. I'll read that
So,
again.
yeah, because that can. So, from what I think I heard you say is that the Padres could pick him up for 2 more years,
And make it a 3-year deal.
and if they
Well,
don't,
let's start by how he started the tweet,
all right.
because I was like, "Oh, okay, 31-year-old pitcher, 4 years, 26 million. Down. Okay, that's cool. I could
I mean,
live with that."
that's $6 million a year, right? I mean,
Roughly,
yeah,
yeah.
and if you're 31 years old and you haven't made like, and I haven't looked at his career earnings, but if you're 31 and you can get kind of a longer term commitment and you can get that guaranteed money, even if you outpitch the contract, you've got yourself locked up into a $26 million, which again, I mean, listen, Manny Machado is making more than that in one season, but $26 million is lifetime money.
Sure. And
Yeah.
it's a great that sounds like a great deal for a experienced pitcher that's 31 years old who had a rebound year. You're like, dude, $6.5 million for 4 years? Down. But then it gets complex because he says in 2023 he's making $7.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
After this year, Padres can pick up a 2-year, $32 million option. And I'm like, wait, what happened to 4-year, 26 million? Because now it's 2 years at 32 million. And then if the Padres decline, he gets a 3-year, $18.5 million contract. So it's very confusing the way Paston laid it out. A minute or two later,
No, that makes sense.
Rosenthal puts it visually, so my dumb brain can understand it because I don't know math.
Oh, okay.
So this is Michael Wacha's full contract.
Okay.
Initially, it is a 4-year, $26 million deal. The
Mm-hmm.
signing bonus of $3.5 million and his salary of $4 million. That's the $7.5 million he will make this year. Cool?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Here's where it gets a little tricky, but it makes more sense this way. The club option, if the Padres pick up his option after this year, they have to pick up 2 years simultaneously, which makes it a 2-year, $32 million contract.
Okay.
Cool?
All right.
If the club declines his option, Michael Wacha has a player option for 3 years at 6.5, 6 million, and 6 million, all exercised at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it just hold it there for a second. It is an interesting way to build a contract because initially what Michael Wacha knows right now is this: they just gave me $3.5 million to sign, and now they're going to pay me $4 million for the season. Alex, maybe you could put this tweet back up on the screen while the three of us are kind of analyzing it. So first things first, year one, he got $3.5 million. They gave him a check, and they're going to pay him $4 million for the season. Okay, fine. Then if next year the club wants to exercise the option, hey, we would like to keep you, man. Great job by you. You outpitched the $7.5 million. We want to keep you, and we want to keep you for 2 more years. So that means that when they pick that up, based on the way Rosenthal reports it, it's $32 million for 2 years.
Yes.
Does that sound right?
Correct.
Okay. If the team says, "Hey, Michael, we paid you $7.5 million, and we didn't really think you did much for us this year, and you got hurt, and you didn't really do anything. We're not picking up the $32 million."
Mm-hmm.
If he decides,
Mm-hmm.
well, you know what, guys, you didn't give me the $32 million, but I'm now entitled to $18.5 million over the course of the next 3 years. I mean, this is it's not a monster money deal, but it is sort of a commitment, if you will, by the Padres that he'll be here in all likelihood through the 2026 season, unless he were to get moved or whatever. But it's
the only way
like
that he's not here is if the Padres decline and he declines.
Right.
So it's like some sort of middle ground where
you guys are really complicating this. It's not
why
really
are we, okay, go ahead. Simplify it for us, Browner.
It's a 1-year deal. If you give us it's a 1-year deal. If you do what you did last year, it becomes a 3-year deal. If you go back to the Michael Wacha who couldn't find himself and you suck, it cuts down to a 6-year deal. You can go find a deal somewhere else because you can decline. So at the end of this year, both parties can either walk away or we could double this thing up and give you a bigger deal. Because at the end of the season, we're going to be having another discussion about Michael Wacha because the deal is going to reset one way or the other.
See,
so
the way I look at it is
I think it's smart.
He's either really good and he's here for 3 years.
Correct.
Or he's terrible and he's here for 4.
That's okay. See, Browner, that's the deal. See that where you say it's a 1-year deal. And it is a 1-year deal, but here's the issue. If he doesn't perform and the Padres decline the option of the 32, because think about it. If let's just say he goes out there and he has the kind of year he had last year for the Red Sox and the Padres were to pay him $16 million for the next 2 years, that's still a bargain because really he becomes like he's a really good 4 or 5.
Number 2.
Well, I mean,
with what he did last year, he'd be a number 2.
Yeah, but on this pitching staff, I guess, I mean, he could elevate to a 3, let's say.
Okay.
But at $16 million, you can live with that because you've only given Yu Darvish $18 million and you've only given Musgrove $20 million. So it's not a terrible deal. If he's good, the Padres got a bargain.
Yes.
If he's bad and he says, well, you know what? No one's going to pay me $6 million because I wasn't very good. Then you know what happens? He exercises his option and he's guaranteed $18.5 million, whether he's good, bad, or doesn't play. And oh, by the way, even $18 million over 3 years, get from him whatever it is that you can get from him. It's still not a terrible deal for the Padres.
There's obviously we want him to come in and be the 2022 Michael Wacha, and then you have no problem with the 2-year, $32 million contract. But there's a weird middle ground of how he has to perform for him not to pick up the option and for the Padres not to pick up the option. Because you look around, Mike Clevenger got $12 million from the White Sox.
I was just about to read Sean Manaea's contract.
Yeah.
What Sean Manaea is getting next year? You mean to tell me I don't care how bad he pitches?
What's Manaea getting next year?
So next year, Manaea gets $12 million.
Yeah.
And he gets $7 million this year, and he gets $12 million next year. Sean Manaea was terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. So if Michael Wacha's what he was the year he was bad, he might find himself with $7 million, which is more than what he would get if the Padres declined the option. So
it's just a really interesting workaround, and it makes you think. It's not a straightforward contract, right? Like if it was a 4-year, $26 million,
it's incentive-based.
home
it's
run,
smart.
freaking grand slam, 4-year, $26 million. It's beautiful. But when you see option, when you see player option, when you see club option, when you see all these numbers being thrown around, it makes you think like, wait, is it a good deal? But we won't know if it's a good deal until after this year.
Right.
Right.
That's right. Well, hey, listen, let's keep it going.
A 1 year, $8 million, $7 million and a half million. That's a great deal no matter what. You got a 31-year-old arm that won 11 games last year. That's a great deal. Now it makes you think, well, I don't know if it's a good deal. Now we got to see.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly creative on both sides, the Padres side and on the player agent side. And that's pretty darn creative stuff. All right, stick around. There is a lot more stuff as we're now into spring training. And I sense from you, the San Diego sports fans, that Padres is where your heads are at. I know Alex's head is also in the San Diego State basketball team. We'll get an update on that coming up in just a matter of minutes. And also, I will just say this. in the next segment, I will start it with your feedback to the uncensored portion of the show. And then Browner says he got something he got to deal with later today, so we'll get to that as well. So we're just getting rolling. It's Thursday afternoon. Appreciate everybody being here. We are in the 7 Mile Casino studios, 7milecasino.com. And if you are looking for a place to play poker or blackjack, pie gow, and other related table games, come on down to 7 Mile Casino. It's only 7 minutes south of downtown San Diego on the beautiful bay of Chula Vista. I know the first time I was ever there, I was like, what? I've never been here before. This is beautiful. And a lot of people have that sort of reaction. And not only do you have great table games in a completely smoke-free environment, but on the other side, you got Sammy's Woodfire Pizza, which is Sammy's Restaurant and Bar. And we're currently in the process of putting together another dinner/show at 7 Mile Casino. So stay tuned for more details coming on that. All right. Your reaction to the raw emotion in the uncensored version of the podcast. I'll get to all of that coming up. This is Kaplan and Crew.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew Tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 AM, ESPN Radio, and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal. Brought to you by MedCline. Sleep better, feel better, live better.
Dominating the SoCal radio airwaves for over 20 years. Join Scott Kaplan, Alex Padilla, and John Browner for Kaplan and Crew every Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. Only on the mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk, and the mightier1090.com.
At Shelter to Soldier, being a private nonprofit, we rely on the community. Thankfully, we have sponsors like the Barnes firm that get behind us.
We understand the difficulties that many of our veterans face when they come back into civilian life. And this program just seemed like the perfect fit.
Today we're catching up with Barney. He is now in our matching phase of our program. He is meeting eligible veterans in what we call speed dating.
How's it going?
So we have just recently approved 5 new veterans for our program. So Barney will be meeting every single one of them to see if he is the perfect match for them.
Barney's perfect date would be a nice long walk on the beach, and then he would like to end the night with a nice dinner with his veteran.
We got to find the right person for the right dog.
When someone you know has COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, things can progress very quickly, making them feel hopeless. But it doesn't have to be like this.
See, Mom, this place is going to be great for you. They're going to help you breathe better.
Pulmonary rehabilitation at La Mesa Rehab focuses on patient education and training. We use special therapies to improve your lungs, clear out mucus, and keep you out of the hospital. Pulmonary rehab is Medicare approved. Call now to see if you qualify or ask your doctor about La Mesa Rehab today.
Since 1975, San Diegans have trusted the Murray-Lampert family for their home remodeling projects. We continue our commitment to deliver high-quality home remodeling and construction to our customers without an expensive showroom.
When you're adding companion units or ADUs to bring value to your home, our team has the experience to handle everything. Plus, our strong relationships with the city makes adding on easier for homeowners.
Visit murraylampert.com for your consultation.
Surf Soccer has been around for over 30 years. We're based here in San Diego, but we are the premier national youth sports brand in soccer. Our mission is to create experiences and opportunities for kids, and we do that here mostly in San Diego with our 1,000 kids, but we also do it through our events where we really help kids chase their dreams.
PNC Bank sponsorship helps the kids here. One, it is to continue to help fund facilities like this where the kids can come play soccer. Two, it is really through our scholarship program. There are a lot of kids in San Diego that have incredible levels of talent, but they can't afford to play on a team like Surf. And so a lot of our sponsorship dollars go back into scholarships to give an opportunity for kids who are low to moderate income to play on one of the elite teams in the U.S.
Having a partner like PNC who is community oriented and cares about the development of youth in the community is amazing because our missions are completely aligned and we're both driven by helping develop kids, and in this case through sport in San Diego.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew Tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 AM, ESPN Radio, and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal. Brought to you by MedCline. Sleep better, feel better, live better.
Listen to The Mike Greenberg Show, 7 to 9 a.m. Pacific, Monday through Friday. Greeny brings his unmatched depth of sports knowledge, fun, and entertainment back to ESPN on a daily basis. The Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk, and themightier1090.com. We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew Show on the Mightier 1090 AM, ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk.
Hey, everybody, it's Scott Kaplan from Kaplan and Crew. And with me right now is Rick Slider. He's the CEO of MedCline, which, by the way, is a pillow that is going to change your life. You have no idea what I'm talking about, but I'm telling you right now. Rick, how you doing, man? Where do we find you today?
Scott, great to talk to you. I'm in sunny San Diego, a place you're pretty familiar with.
Yeah, I'm glad it's sunny out. I see the Padres stuff right over your head. That looks pretty cool. And some Beastie Boys. You got some cool stuff behind you.
We had a different sports team up on the wall for a while that had to be taken down, say half dozen years ago. But the Padres still flies prominently on the wall.
I love it, man. Hey, if you could, while we have this time together, can you tell everybody the backstory of MedCline and how you guys have become such a big San Diego company selling all over the world and what the deal is with the MedCline systems?
Sure. MedCline started here in San Diego, started by a radiologist whose primary practice was at UCSD. And he was a longtime sufferer of heartburn and acid reflux. Tried everything, tried diet changes, was taking medication, proton pump inhibitors or PPIs that a lot of people take. But he was looking for a natural way to reduce his heartburn symptoms. And he found through trial and error that when he slept in an incline and when he slept on his side, his heartburn and acid reflux symptoms would dissipate. Because he's a doctor, he wanted to make sure that this just wasn't by chance. And so he set up some clinical studies using a system that he designed and patented. We got clinical trial results, found that there was a strong reduction in the esophageal acid that would take place during the night, reducing his symptoms. And with that, decided to create a product called MedCline and commercialized it a few years ago. And that is really how our company began, with his personal desire to stop his heartburn and reflux symptoms.
That's amazing. It really is amazing. Like when you have something wrong, you're like, I'm going to fix this problem. But you know what's amazing to me is that acid reflux is a problem that obviously a lot of people have. But for me, I have shoulder pain, chronic shoulder pain from the way I sleep, because I sleep with my arm over my head and then my pillow in between. So when I got my first MedCline, I didn't realize there's the reflux relief pillow, but there's the shoulder relief pillow. And it's completely changed everything for me. My shoulder pain has gone so far down because I'm no longer sleeping like this. I'm like underneath. And tell me about the shoulder pillow, please.
Sure. First of all, I'm so glad to hear that it's working for you. That's fantastic. Secondly, as we brought MedCline to the marketplace, we found that there were a number of individuals that benefited from therapeutic side sleeping beyond just those suffering from heartburn or GERD. And the primary use is for shoulder pain. And the reason I think people like you have been so comfortable with the MedCline is because of our patented arm pocket. When you try and sleep on your side and you have shoulder pain, you run the risk of your shoulder getting frozen, exacerbating pain that you might be feeling, whether it's due to rotator cuff, general shoulder soreness. And so our incline has a patented arm pocket that allows you to either rest comfortably on your elbow or to slide through, sounds like what you do, slide your arm through the system so you can stay at an elevation and sleep comfortably on your side throughout the night. And today, here in 2023, our shoulder product is actually our top seller. It surpassed those that suffer from heartburn and acid reflux, simply because there's more people with shoulder injuries across the country. And we're glad that we're able to help you out.
It's awesome. Hey, we don't have a lot of time, but in the last minute, would you just tell everybody how the MedCline products, though, have gone viral, particularly on TikTok. Just give us like a 30 or 60 seconds about what has happened.
I'd love to say that I'm a marketing genius here, Scott, but really it's just about excited consumers sharing the benefits they get of MedCline. And it's amazing what happens when people finally can get a good night's sleep, how they're so excited to share that information. And recently, we've always been a part of social media, but recently we've kind of found a niche within TikTok. I didn't know that healthy sleep TikTok was a subgenre, but it really is. And with a few different posts, we've seen over just in the last 30 days, over 10 million people exposed to our MedCline products. So we're excited about the virality that this has created. I think it's in part because we have a 95% customer satisfaction rate. We know we can help people get a good night's sleep. It does take a while to adjust and sleep differently. But we're excited to see kind of the viral nature of our product grow, and we're excited to help out as many customers as possible.
It's awesome. I want to encourage everybody who's watching right now, go to medcline.com, medcline.com. Look at the different products. Know you're supporting a San Diego company, and I encourage everybody, sleep better with our friends from MedCline.
Drivers are getting in accidents at a rate we've never seen before, jumping 18% since 2020. There are higher incidents of speeding and more aggressive driving since the pandemic began. Please slow down and drive safely. It can save a life.
An ADU is accessory dwelling unit, and it's become one of the most popular solutions to housing in the United States. We constructed this to provide housing for my mother, who is elderly.
Well, I wanted to downsize. At my age, that's what I wanted to do. Eric engaged the services of Murray Lambert, a top building company.
This is an 825 square foot structure, but it actually looks more like 1,000 because of the spatial considerations. Micah was great. He took the ball and ran with it and came up with this really great combination.
It always appealed to me, high ceilings. It gives a sense of space, of openness, and I like that. Oh, I would give this experience a 10 for sure. Plus, 10 plus.
From fitness to medical technology, explore how people are leading healthier lives on Your Health. Join Erica Cardenas as she introduces you to health experts and discover how our daily choices affect our well-being. Plus, learn simple tips for healthier living. Your Health, Sunday at 4:30 p.m. on YourView and YourView.com. Brought to you by La Mesa Rehab, improving the lives of those with all types of lung disease and long COVID symptoms.
The #1 disease in the world, according to World Health Organization, is dental disease. For 25 years, we've had one of the most leading group dental practices in the country. Imagine you're a parent, you're a mom or a dad, and you have a 2-year-old that doesn't get any cavities, and you have a 12-year-old that has a soda habit and gets a ton of cavities. Well, how do you determine what oral care products to get? It's really mind-boggling that currently there does not exist an oral care product company that specializes for kids. So we thought this is a great opportunity to get into that space and revolutionize oral care for kids. We have every single product that every parent needs for every person in that family. It's very comprehensive. The next thing is we customize your oral care products. Someone who has a lot of gum disease probably requires different sets of oral care products that someone has a very, very healthy mouth. And it's also conveniently shipped to your home every 3 to 6 months. Make sure you go to supermouth.com and check out all the educational content. And of course, check out our profile builder to get the right products for every family member.
At the Barnes firm, we're seeing more pedestrian and bicycle accidents. Drivers are rolling through red lights, and distracted driving makes every intersection a danger zone for pedestrians. Look both ways when crossing, even if you have the right of way.
Welcome back. This is Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio. SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, John Browner, and Alex Padilla.
All right, great friends. What's going on Thursday afternoon? This is Kaplan and Crew with Grande and the Brown Man coming to you from the 7 Mile Casino Studios, 7milecasino.com. If you're just getting with us, we were talking about the Padres and this Michael Wacha deal that he signed and how it seems creative and somewhat complicated. But we were kind of going through it, and that's what's happening right now is spring training and what's happening around the Padres. And by the way, we're going to come back to it because the commissioner of baseball actually had some serious criticism for Padres ownership. We'll get to that story coming up. We'll hear from Fernando Tatis, who's talking in the clubhouse. We'll get to all this Padre related news on the way. Alex wants to get into the San Diego State basketball team and the win they had last night. And Browner says he got something he got to get off his chest. So we'll get to all of this on the way. I will start off with this, fellas. Alex, if you could put us all on the screen. So yesterday we started a new segment on the show. It's called the Uncensored Version. And it's one segment a day. And it doesn't happen on radio. It doesn't happen on television. It only happens really on YouTube. Okay. I was surprised yesterday at the reaction as I was just venting and the stuff was just pouring out of me. I could see Alex cringing, like, oh my God, dude, I can't believe you're talking about the business of the show. I can't believe you're talking about your personal life. Like,
Oh, I could believe it.
well, I know you could, but you were kind of cringing at the whole thing. You're talking about your personal life, and gosh, I hope I don't have to take this video down because your ex and her lawyer are going to find it. And I didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was pretty benign. But I think in life, just generally speaking, there's a lot of stress, man. When you have kids, when you've got multiple jobs, listen, I'll tell you guys right now, in 2019, when the radio station went off the air and I was getting divorced at the exact same time, I mean, it was implosion. I had a lawyer at the time tell me, you should claim bankruptcy right now. And I'm like, but wait, why? And she said, because there's 3 reasons that people claim bankruptcy. 1 is because they have a business implosion. 2 is divorce. And 3 is a major health problem. She said, you have 2 out of the 3. Just claim bankruptcy. I'm like, oh, good God. My grandfather would freaking roll over in his grave if I didn't battle my way out of the mess, And listen, lots of people claim bankruptcy. That's why it's in place. Lots of big business people claim bankruptcy. My goodness, even like Bally Sports right now, where you watch Padre games, where you watch other sporting events, they themselves say that one more time.
If you can see them, yeah.
Why you can't see Bally Sports?
No,
Why not?
because it's not available on YouTube TV.
Yeah, that's why I still have Cox.
That's why I switched.
What?
DirecTV Stream.
Oh, you can get it on DirecTV Stream?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, big businesses do this all the time. They claim bankruptcy and they try and reorganize. I mean, I can remember years and years and years ago, guys, this is before either of you guys were working together with us. I remember MC Hammer coming into our 1090 radio studio because he was in San Diego. And I met Hammer for lunch one day through a friend. Remember, he was doing those old commercials for like gold, some kind of gold company. I don't know if you guys remember this or not. Anyway, this friend of mine was a producer of these commercials. He's like, you got to come meet MC Hammer. What a great guy. I come down, I have lunch with MC Hammer. I go, Hammer, you got to come into the studio and spend time with me. He comes into the studio and I ask him about his bankruptcy. And he explained to me why he claimed bankruptcy. For me, I just couldn't do it. Couldn't, wouldn't, didn't, won't. Too much pride. No fear of failure, the whole thing, right? So life can be hard. And yesterday, Browner and Grande, I let my emotions come out on this uncensored version of the show. And I was talking about, the changing business climate. I was talking about, still dealing with, I've been divorced since 2019. I'm still dealing with it. And the legal bills are on the rise and the revenues for the show are, and the emotion came out of me. Let me tell you guys, the feedback that I've gotten from that. And I'll move back into the Padres here in a second. Here's Casey Yamaguchi, who emailed me based on a mass email that he or she had gotten. He just replied to it. Scott, sorry you're having so much stress right now. I love that you were so raw and open and honest in yesterday's uncensored segment. You're a real one. Hear that, Browner?
Oh, God.
Yes, it's true. What do you mean, okay. Oh, God?
Nah, yeah, listen. At least you use it in the right term.
Yeah, I'm a real one. He says, he or she says, I think it's a girl. He says, she says, I feel your stress, but I know you're going to come through with more sponsors than ever soon. I've listened and loved your show forever, and you inspire me with what a great father and hard worker you are. Hang in there and keep crushing. Thank you, Casey, very much. Joe Rigby sends me a text. This was this morning. Good morning. I know you're under a lot of pressure, my man. Lots of life going on, too. Just wanted to drop you a note and let you know you've got some great friends here for you guys if and when you need us. No fear of failure. You guys have redefined perseverance. Hang in there, Kaplan and Crew. I mean, it's email, it's text. I received a message from Juliana, who is always in our YouTube chat. She said, "Hi, you will get through this. I know it's difficult to not take it to heart, but people have no idea what goes on behind the scenes, not to mention your personal stuff. It was so good that you vented, and hopefully everyone understands what's going on. If there's anything I can do, I'm here to help, et cetera, et cetera." And I'm giving you guys, here's one more. I'm going to give you just one more. There's a guy named Clinton St. Clair who listens every day, and he comments on Twitter. I don't know Clinton, but I see him commenting on the show. He said, "Hey, Scott, I finished yesterday's episode last night, and you explaining the issue with sponsors and time management, et cetera, made me think about how streamers go onto their Twitch account, and they have this problem in their career all the time. They get to a crossroads of providing content that keeps viewers happy, because that's what you've always done, produce that kind of content. But streamers who play only one game, it winds up driving their viewership. But at some point, they want a new or a different game, and they get caught up because their viewers are vocal. Well, that's what we like to see." He said, "I know you have tons of passionate fans and viewers, but it's okay to produce what makes you happy. And if you need to reduce the time on the show, then do it, man." He says, "It's your show. It's your mental health. Peace, and have a great show today." Hey, Clinton, I said that, hey, coming from you, man, I really appreciate that. Even Louis Escobedo sent me messages yesterday. So this, fellas, this is the response that I got from the uncensored version of the podcast yesterday. Alex, did you catch any as well?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't have them pulled up, but I kind of addressed in the first segment. I think people thought that, like, at least the vibe was that me and Browner were trying to shut you down, or like that we were surprised by the news of what you were saying, which is, I mean, neither are true. I think that Scott has a microphone. Ain't no one going to shut you down, and we know that. I mean, we just know that as a fact, and we knew everything that you said before you said it. I mean, we've been talking about it for weeks, so we noticed the show was 4 segments too, so it's not like a surprise to us. But I will address one, and I'm trying to find it.
Okay.
Someone called out me and Browner for being lazy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Boy, I couldn't. Let me tell you guys, I didn't see that, but I'll tell you this right now. I don't know who said it, but I tell you guys right now, grinders. These guys, lazy they are the exact opposite of lazy. Grinders.
YouTube comment from Stella says, "Wait, so while you, Scott, are running around trying to keep the show alive, what are Browner and Alex doing? Why are other people offering to help you? But I'm still wondering, why aren't the other two fully involved in this show, not doing the work?"
No, that's not the case. It's not the case. The only thing is that what you don't understand is, Stella, is there's so much work that goes into this because we're such a small team and we're distributing content in so many different places that, these are not sales guys. That's what I was complaining about yesterday, is that how 1090 as a radio station does not have a salesperson on the streets attempting to sell this show. And what has really smacked me in the face recently is working with my crew up in LA. There's tons of salespeople, and they specialize. Some are in digital, some are in audio, some are in team rights. And they're coming up with all these crazy ass creative concepts to get sponsors to spend real money. And we're content creators, and the station itself, 1090, doesn't have anybody selling us.
Here's my favorite comment.
Go ahead.
From Mr. N.S. Bruno.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to you, dog. Brownie, you like this one. "I'll take the shortened and undermanned Cappy cast over the overproduced and overstaffed LA show any day."
Oh, shout out. Like, boy, I heard. I saw
also,
that
the
too.
YouTube chat was very confused as to what is the difference between the uncensored segment and what they've already been getting anyways.
I don't know. I don't understand quite the question because in the uncensored
The
segment,
question is, so we would
The overtime.
wrap up the radio
The
portion,
overtime, yeah.
go to overtime,
Mhm.
and cuss and do
Mhm.
whatever and
Mhm.
talk about whatever,
Mhm.
which would be sometimes 30 seconds, sometimes 3 minutes
Yeah.
long. 3
Mhm.
minutes is about as long as it ever got.
Mhm.
But according to them, what we did yesterday is no different than what so the going 21 minutes is no different than going 30 seconds. And I was like, okay. But anyways, that's what I was trying to I jumped in the chat for a second. I was like, well, it's supposed to be today is like Scott's therapy session.
Yeah, it was.
Tomorrow might be like 21 minutes of us talking about Padres just dropping F-bomb. Like the idea is it's going to be a normal segment, but it's not going to always be a therapy session.
No.
It's going to be another segment of content
Yeah.
just with us talking like we would talk at a bar.
Yep. Yep. Well,
That's all.
hey, speaking of talking the way we
It
were
so
talking,
happened that Scott let it off with a
yeah,
therapy.
I had no choice. I had
he had to vent.
and
you
I
know?
had to, and I want to tell you guys, everybody who contacted me, everybody who sent me thoughts and love and said, hey, you guys inspire us. I had a guy come up to me. I swear to God, totally true story. Last Saturday night, Rachel and I went out for a quick bite, and a gentleman walked up to me in a bar. Browner, by the way, this is the same bar where I told you I saw a fight go down, and I got in to break up the fight because it was a waitress who was my waitress, and she got into a fight with a patron, right? And I said to her, I go, hey, how you doing, man? We were here last week. There was that fight, and I helped break it up. She was like this. She was, oh my God, I'm so glad you're back. She broke out her phone and showed me the security video.
Oh, nice.
Of me coming to her rescue.
Nice. Dibs on that video.
But this guy comes up to me in this bar and he said, hey, man, we are so proud of you guys. Like, it was unsolicited. It wasn't like, hey, big fan. It was like, dude, we are so proud of you guys. Like, I know it's people have seen what's gone on in the last few years and they are. So listen, appreciate everybody. I had to get it off my chest. I'm glad I did. Uncensored.
Won't be the last time.
Probably won't be. Probably won't be.
Definitely won't be the
No.
last time.
All right, let me do this. Let me say to everybody, because now I want to get back to finishing up this conversation we were having about the Padres. If you are looking for a new car, I want you to consider Penske San Diego, PenskeSanDiego.com. They make it fast. They make it easy. All you have to do is go onto their website, PenskeSanDiego.com. They've got 12 dealerships. They represent 9 brands. They've got over 1,000 cars in stock right now. And when you go online and you say, hey, look, I'm interested in car A, B, C, and D, when you get there, it's parked, it's ready, you take a test drive. It's not like it used to be, walk around the lot, have some guy chase you down, and then think you're getting screwed over. It's fast, it's easy, it's fun, it's a whole new way to do business. Penske San Diego, PenskeSanDiego.com. All right, back to the Padres. So when we were talking about this Wacha contract, and look, it's not a mega contract. It's not Xander Bogaerts. It's not Fernando Tatis. It's not Manny Machado. It's not what Soto might eventually get, whether it's in San Diego or elsewhere. But it was an interesting, creative way to add a pitcher, not just for this year, but if he's good, maybe for the next 3 years, really. But I thought it was interesting to see the commissioner of baseball, I would say, criticize Padres ownership for how they've spent. Now, maybe I wasn't paying attention enough, but is he saying the same thing about the Yankees or the Mets or in previous iterations, the Dodgers or other teams that are big market, big spender types? Is it just the Padres that he's questioning, or is it all the big luxury tax rosters from around baseball? I'm pretty surprised to see Rob Manfred. In fact, if anything, I would think he should compliment the Padres and say, hey, you know what? This goes to show you it's not about New York and LA and big television markets. It's about ownership being committed to trying to win and being willing to spend whatever it takes to go do that. So I was surprised by the questioning of the Padres rather than the celebrating of their spending and their willingness to go all in. What'd you guys think?
When I told you,
Can we play?
Oh yeah. Ooh, if we get play that.
Look, I think there's real positives in the Padres story. I think that the investment that the club has made in talent has allowed them to grow their revenue to the point that they're payor, will be a payor under the revenue sharing system this year. The trick for smaller markets has also always been sustainability. You know, it's hats off to Peter Seidler. He's made a massive financial commitment personally to making this all happen. And, you know, the question becomes, how long can you continue to do that? And what happens when, you know, you have to go through a rebuild? But they have done a really, really good job of capitalizing on their talent to drive their revenue.
You know, listen, let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
This is the meat I need. This is the meat I need to throw on the grill today. Okay. This is
it.
the smoke I want. This is all the smoke I want.
All right, meat on the grill. Here we go, Brown.
I never met a dumber commissioner in my life. I never seen a dumber guy in charge of something so important to the sports landscape as this guy. This guy's an utter buffoon. He's an utter buffoon. It's the same moron who did not penalize the Astros. It's the same moron who called the World Series trophy a piece of metal. This guy's an idiot, okay? Here you have one of your fan bases, one of your smaller, quote-unquote, smaller organizations paying up to make the sport better, which then increases the eyeballs on the sport, which rising tide lifts all boats. Wise man once said. So why would you then come out and say, oh, well, I don't know how they're going to keep doing it? Man, shut the hell up. Okay? Because there's another thing about this. I did some research. I went to the paper. Okay, let me get my bebops out.
What paper? What paper did you go to?
Let me get my damn bebops out.
Oh, look at him go. Now he got on the nerd goggles. All right.
Okay.
Fangraphs.
I had to
and a yellow.
I had to go to the
Damn.
pad, bro, because I'm tired of this. Okay, let me explain something to y'all. Okay, population San Diego 1.4 million. San Diego County is the 4th largest county in the United States of America. Okay, and all this thing, San Diego County is number 4. Number 4. So stop telling me ain't no people here, because when you talk about market size, I know that's based on media. I'm talking about people. The money is out there, okay? The money is out there, because you could tell me that these other places are more viable. There are more people here. There are more living, breathing consumers in San Diego County than all the other counties, with the exception of 3, man. With the exception of 3. I want to hear it. I want to hear it. The Padres know this. That's why they spend it. So they need to fire this guy, because he dumb. I'm messing everything up.
I'm not defending Rob Manfred, but we've seen the Rockies owner complain and moan about the Padres, the Reds owner, the Pirates. Like, you've seen owners who Rob Manfred works for complain about what the Padres
because
are doing.
ex-girlfriends always complain when you level up. Okay,
so
that's
think
what
that
they are. That's what we left them. We used to be them. We used to be the Rockies. We used to be the Reds. We used to be the Pirates. We left that life, okay? We left the drugs alone, okay? We clean and sober. We moving forward. We ain't with that no more.
I think that, and you guys and everybody can jump on me, I think what he said is not a wild thing to say. I think that what the Padres are doing is great. They've invested into their community, into the fan base, into their team, and the fan base is rewarding them by showing out with the second most home, like, percentage-wise, like, of sellouts of the entire MLB. I know they were 5th in all of attendance, but I'm telling you, like, they sold out like 93% of their games or something like that. I saw on some graph or something. So all I'm saying is, what he's saying is not incorrect. Is this working now? Yes. Can the Padres sustain it? I don't know. Like, when you say we used to be the Reds, we used to be the Pirates, we used to be the Braves, we used to be the Royals. Okay, we are right now. But are the Padres going to be spending like the Dodgers forever under?
Okay.
And I think that's a fair question.
Let me address that. Let me address that for a second as well.
All right, you got a minute before we hit the break.
No team has a sustained level of success and spending. The Red Sox have just as much money as the Yankees. Well, not as the Red Sox have a lot of money in comparative to the Yankees. They've had down times because players get old, and it is the front office's responsibility to switch and change that out. The Yankees have all the money in the world. They sucked for like 6 or 7 years after Derek Jeter. They bounced back.
And that's what he asked. Like, how are they going to do it when they're rebuilding?
Every team has a downturn. So that's a dumb thing to say.
I agree with
Well,
Browner.
not the Dodgers like the last 13 years.
No, but I agree. But yeah, but even though
What
the
were they
Dodgers
before that?
But even though the Dodgers haven't had a downturn, they've only won one World Series.
Thank you.
I mean they've been the division champs every year.
What
and
they
they've
do
been
when Frank McCourt owned the team when he was cheap?
Well,
What they do with him?
Let me do this. Let me hit this break, okay? We're in the 7 Mile Casino studios. 7milecasino.com is our website. And we can pick this up because here's the thing. I think that Peter Seidler, as a businessman, has decided to play a different kind of game.
Yes.
Now, does it have long-term sustainability? It certainly has a question mark, but I understand the basis of where it's all coming from. I'll explain what I mean. Coming right back. This is Kaplan and Crew with Grande and the Brown Man.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew Tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 AM, ESPN Radio, and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal. Brought to you by MedCline. Sleep better, feel better, live better.
Locally owned and operated, not some bland, uninspired, corporate, cookie-cutter radio station crap. We simply say to those stations, Q. The mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk.
Murray Lampert now brings architectural and interior design to a whole new level for your remodel, ADU, or whole house build.
We're truly a team at Murray Lampert Design, Build, Remodel, and we don't take that lightly.
Visit murraylampert.com.
This is a huge wall. I'm sure it presented some challenges.
You're right, Sarah. And what it was in the model we noticed there was too much wood. This was supposed to be clad. And with the beautiful stairs and railings, we realized that we need to come up with a different finish. So we used these reglets that are metal with the drywall, and it gave it this grid look that also matches up with the beams.
Wow, that came out beautiful. If you want to see how they conquered more design challenges, check out Our Family, Your Home.
Sponsored by The Barnes Firm. Proud to support Black History Month. Car crash? Call 1-800-8-million for a free consultation.
When you're adding companion units or ADUs to bring more value to your home, our experience plus our strong relationship with the city makes adding on easier for our homeowners.
At Murray Lampert, we listen to you first, then design and build. Visit murraylampert.com.
If you're going to count yourself as a fan of this radio station, you'll need to continuously ask yourself one basic question. Am I listening enough? Pro tip, wives are not a good source for input on this. This is the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio.
When you're adding companion units or ADUs to bring more value to your home, our experience plus our strong relationship with the city makes adding on easier for our homeowners.
At Murray Lampert, we listen to you first, then design and build. Visit murraylampert.com.
For many consumers, sleeping at night should be an easy experience. For many, it's not. There are a number of reasons for that, most notably those that suffer from acid reflux or heartburn. There are also many individuals dealing with various pains or ailments. MedCline is a sleep solution company with our goal to allow people to have a healthy and peaceful night's sleep. And we do that with our therapeutic side sleeping systems. Our patented, clinically studied MedCline relief systems are designed to place an adult in an elevated side sleeping position, which can help them reduce the symptoms or issues they're dealing with. MedCline systems are registered with the FDA, and as a medical product, MedCline systems are qualified for use with FSA and HSA funds. For anyone looking for more information, you can visit medcline.com/sleepbetter.
Hey everybody, this is Scott Kaplan from Kaplan and Crew Tonight here on Cox Your View. Just want to tell everybody that Cox TV home base throughout Southern California, but you can get us on radio on 1090. You can get us on our YouTube channel, all the different audio podcast platforms. And I want to say thank you very much to a San Diego-based company that's selling all over the world. That's MedCline, MEDCLINE, medcline.com. They're going to change the way you sleep. We appreciate you guys.
Thank you for joining us. Catch Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific every Monday through Friday. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk.
Welcome to Your Health, where we explore the latest in health across the country. I'm Erica Cardenas. Believe it or not, 2023 is here, and we have some tips to help you kickstart your new year in a healthy way. But first,